And joining us now to discuss is Kim Grauer, Director of Research at crypto data firm Chainalysis. Welcome, Kim. Great to have you on the show. So taking a look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin has climbed 35% over the past 30 days. It is 30% away from its April peak. Yet we saw a huge run up in the crypto markets since Sunday, but Bitcoin is pulling back. Is it overbought?
Is Bitcoin overbought? Well, I think that the thing that we've been really paying attention to at Chainalysis is all of the talk of regulation coming out of Congress. And I think that the price run over the past few days has really reflected the industry's overall excitement that Congress is really taking on regulation. And that's really being reflected in the prices of cryptocurrency today.
That's a really interesting take because, when China decided to look at cryptocurrencies, they cracked down on mining, and we saw a precipitous drop in the markets. Now with the U.S. sounding off on regulatory concerns, and with SEC Chair Gary Gensler and this infrastructure bill that has concerning implications for crypto miners, if interpreted very broadly, the markets are actually going up. So it looks like, bad news in the U.S. versus bad news in China, it affects the markets very differently.
Yeah, I know it's every region is impacted by different factors. And I think that the one kind of common thread is that people want to get regulation right. And so we look at what's happening in the United States, and, there's all these debates about this specific bill. And how do we do it right? And the fact that so many people came out and said, this is not how you do it, or had an opinion about how the best way to carry out this legislation, I think really signaled that the industry is ready for regulation. They're ready for things to grow. And in order for cryptocurrency activity to grow, you need regulation. And I think that was a really positive signal.
Okay, that's a great take on what we're seeing. In terms of price action in the short term, are there any metrics you're watching out to that might be able to explain what is happening in Bitcoin right now?
Well, we track. We're like you said up front. We're a data platform, and we've got our eyes on all of these different metrics, which we look to in order to kind of give us some indication of what might be happening with the price, or what can we expect in terms of activity. Some really great metrics that we actually track are on-chain flows to exchanges. And if you have a sense of flow of cryptocurrency entering in an exchange or leaving an exchange, that is correlated with different types of behaviors. And so being able to have that extra kind of your eyes, I guess a comparison that I would like to say is you can see all of these trades happening on the S&P, but you can't see people sending their funds to the S&P in order to carry out these trades. So with cryptocurrency, we have this extra data set. We see people moving their funds to exchanges. Maybe they're gearing up to make a buy. And so we really pay attention to these on-chain metrics as another piece of information that allows us to figure out how people might be trading. Another thing that we're paying attention to, in addition to these on-chain metrics, which come out from which are a part of our market intel platform, is a research project called the Geography of Cryptocurrency, which we're actually doing right now. And we're looking at what is driving adoption all around the world. And we're seeing that there is more economic activity happening than ever before. A lot of that is driven by DeFi, and a lot of that is coming out in pockets all around the world. So it's not just these metrics, it's also having a regional understanding of what is driving crypto adoption in different parts of the world.
Is there activity in one region that is greater than others? Is there one region that stands out to you?
Well, every region is different, and every region doesn't even make sense to really always think about things at the region level. Every country is different. And so every country is impacted by different socioeconomic, geopolitical circumstances, which impact not only the regulatory environment, but the banking environment, which allows for cryptocurrency to be used easily or not easily. And so with this geography report, we look at every single country. We have data at the country level to see what is driving adoption, and each region has a different story. We see remittances playing a part of growth. We've seen, you see international commerce on the rails of cryptocurrency. We're coming out with a lot of really interesting regional research on DeFi, which is going to answer some of those questions.
No regions stick out in particular, or do you have any countries that that stick out?
What sticks out? I think that I wouldn't want to scoop myself, and
fair enough.
But we'll be coming out with that in the next few weeks.
Fair enough. All right. Also in the news is Poly Network and this hack going on. $610 million in crypto stolen on Tuesday. Now half has been given back. I'm sure you have some interesting insights into that. And particularly, I would get, since this is all about Bitcoin, we would like to know, describe to our viewers why this would happen in DeFi, but it wouldn't happen in Bitcoin.
Well, first, I think the right comparison isn't between DeFi and Bitcoin. It's probably between DeFi and exchanges or other services that might be a target of an attacker. And one of the reasons why DeFi is why we're seeing these attacks, and actually we started to see this last year, and we published this in our crime report. We saw a growing number of DeFi platforms were being hacked even last year, and it's continued to kind of keep that trajectory in terms of the number of platforms being hacked. This is a new technology. People are exploiting vulnerabilities. A lot of the code is open source. That's what we saw with Poly Network. And so they are kind of testing the bounds of how effective and good this technology is. And so those holes in the technology and in the code are being exploited by attackers. And we're seeing that happening with the prevalence of DeFi attacks. And the good news is that because cryptocurrency, DeFi, Bitcoin exchanges are transparent, we have recourse. You've probably seen with the response to this Poly Network attack that the whole crypto community has come together. We put out a blog tracking all of the funds, and because of the transparency of blockchains, we're able to see where the funds are going and where they're sitting, and it would be really tough to move them in an effective way without us knowing what's going on.
Which is interesting, because I'm wondering, is this a white hat hacker or just someone who panicked when they realized that, wow, all the crypto I stole is being tracked and I better give it back?
We don't know the motivation for sure. I would say take what the hacker is saying with a grain of salt. And I do know that it would have been a daunting task to effectively launder all of that money with companies such as ours directed and pointed at you and trying and looking to follow the money. And it would have been a really daunting task to effectively launder that. So I don't know their motivations, but if they did get spooked, then it would have made sense that they returned the funds.